The buyers are not funding your retirement plan. They're not funding your next steps at all. In this market, there is one hard truth right now, and that is that a lot of homes that are not selling right now in the GTA, they're just overpriced at the end of the day. They are priced not for what the buyers are willing to pay, but what the sellers are willing to sell their homes for. And that is not how the market works. If your home has been on the market for 3, 4, 5 weeks and you're not getting a lot of showings, you're not getting any offers or any activity on your property, this is not a good thing for you. The market right now is definitely a buyer's market. What does that mean? It means we have to appeal to the buyers that are out there. And if you are not appealing to them with the home's finishes and your price, then we probably have to make an adjustment on the price of your home. Now, I understand some sellers are in a position where they might not be able to sell for less if they don't have any equity in the property. That's completely understandable. You may not be selling your house. That's just the reality of it, because the agent representing the buyer side should be doing their due diligence and not allowing you to buy a home for over market value, especially if it's extremely over market value. Now, on the flip side, if you are trying to sell your home and just using a fantasy price with nothing to back it up, it makes it extremely challenging to hope and dream that somebody is going to pay you that money and you're actually going to end up moving out of this house. So today I'm going to walk you through why sellers actually get stuck, some of the data behind it, and how to fix that fast if you are a seller without giving your house away, of course. Nobody wants to sell your home for as little as possible. We do want to find a buyer who's willing to buy your home for market value though, and they determine what market value is. But the market will come to my price. It won't, at least not right now for most sellers. That's what we hear all the time. Here's what actually is happening though. So in the GTA, the average sale price in August 2025 was just over $1 million at $1,025,000, down 5% year over year. And the benchmark was actually down 5.2%. Actual listings right now, they're up 22%. That is more competition for you. So if you're hoping to sell in Toronto right now, you got to look at all the stats. You got to look, listings are up, sale prices are down, activity is down. What does that mean? It means that the power has shifted. Recent reports are pegging the sales to new listings ratio around 32%, which means there's roughly 5 to 6 months of inventory. That is a buyer's market, like we mentioned earlier. 5.7 months of inventory is buyer's market. Whether we're changing definitions or not, it is a buyer's market in my mind. The translation here is overpricing your home right now is going to burn out your best buyer pool right out the gate. Those A buyers who are ready to shop and tour your home immediately as it hits the market, those are the ones that you want to buy your home. If you miss them and you start chasing the market down with your price, your carrying costs, they're going to continue to go up. Obviously, you've got your insurance, you've got your property tax, you have your mortgage, and the costs, they pile up. The second portion of this here is that your pride shouldn't be tied to your price. My home is better than the last sale. This is the all too common phrase we get from our clients. Everybody's home is better than the last sale, but that's not always the case. Every seller loves their home. This is a guarantee. That's why you bought the home. That's why you're living there currently. And you should love your home, of course. Why wouldn't you? But buyers are going to pay for the comps that have sold, the recent properties that have sold, the condition. They're not paying for your memories at all. And if the last comparable sale sold at $1,030,000, for example, and you list at $1,050,000 because yours shows nicer, buyers will simply wait you out. There is no reason for them to jump at your property. Buyers are shopping for value right now, not the stories of your family's memories. Meanwhile, days on market, of course, they continue to stretch further and further and further. And of course, what happens is they are going to outlast you. The buyers are in no rush right now. Keep that in mind if you're selling your property. Now, the next thing that we see quite often, and the reason why the sellers often get stuck here in a market like this, is they go and pre-spend in this market. And what I mean by that is they say to me, Mike, I need so-and-so price for my house because then I can pay off this, I can go buy this, I can do this. The buyers are not funding your retirement plan. They're not funding your next steps at all. That's not what this is about. They are shopping for value. And if you price your home based on your spreadsheet or the other costs that you have in your life, you're probably going to end up staying in this home because nobody is going to fund all the additional things overvaluing your current listing price. This one might be my favorite. So sellers will say, let's try high on the pricing, and then we can always reduce it, but we can't increase our price. So we don't want to go too low to start. Now, that story might work in markets that are coming up. You might get lucky. Not in markets that are flat, not in markets that are struggling like the market we're in right now. If the market decides to slide a percentage or two while you're testing the market like this, you're going to be losing value right out the gate. 2 price reductions later, you might net less than if you just priced it right out the gate on day 1. But the best thing about that is you might go to that original listing price and then chase yourself down the market, which is just no fun at all. Now, the next thing, it's pertaining to us. We get the comment all the time that the agent wants to price the home low for a quick sale. Now, I can understand why you might think that. You might think, okay, great, Mike wants to price the house low, he gets to sell it fast, he gets to make his commission, and then he gets to move on to his next client and continue the money-making machine, so to speak. That's not the reality of it. When we are having these conversations with you, we are showing you comparable sales, we are having the conversation, and we're making that decision together. But if we are looking at sales and yours is being listed higher than all the other sales, it's really hard to justify this claim that we're working trying to sell this as quick as possible. The goal is to sell it for you for the best value in today's market. The buyer will dictate whether our list price is in fact something that's attractive to them or not. And in some cases, we look at the data, we can justify a listing price. Let's say it's $1.5 million. We've got the sales to back it up, and it still doesn't sell. We have to remember that buyer who bought that last property that we're comparing to, they're gone. They've already bought that other home. So what happens is we have to remember that may have been the only buyer willing to pay that amount of money for that specific home. We might need to make some audibles very quickly, and it is not about us making a quick buck. It's about us getting your home sold. We do not want to list your home and not sell your home. That doesn't help us. It doesn't help you. It basically means we are wasting both of our time in this whole process. So don't hold your opinions too hard against us. We're just trying to make sure that your home gets sold for you. You reached out to us to sell your home. That's really what it comes down to. Now, some practical advice with the buyers holding all the cards essentially right now. You need to price your property correctly right out the gate to get the amount of showings with those buyers who are ready to purchase and get offers before there's listing fatigue on your listing. When buyers see a extended days on market on your property, their head goes right to what is wrong with this home. That is their reaction every single time. So make sure that the pricing is proper right at the gate. There's really not much else you can do other than the marketing, the staging, the pricing. And if all of that packaging is not doing it, there's got to be an issue in one of those 3, and you got to figure out what it is. So until that market picks up and we're back in bidding war land, you should really take the advice in this video here and price your property accordingly to what the market's actually looking like on the sale side of things. Don't be making up the generic price based on what your neighbor's uncles told you should sell it for, plus your kids grew up in the house and you've got emotional memories there. Be very, very strategic with selling your home. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your agent's time. And at the end of the day, you'll end up in a much better position with a sold property. So I hope this gave you a little bit of advice on why we're actually seeing so many listings stuck on the market right now. It is the lack of communication between the agent and the client, or potentially just the stubbornness of the client or the agent just willing to go their route and sell their home for whatever price that they want, but it might not be a realistic price. And what happens a lot of the time is you get agents like ourselves who are seasoned, experienced, been in the real estate game for years. We're not going to take a listing that's extremely overpriced, because what happens to us in that case is we've spent thousands of dollars on marketing, advertising, media, and we don't get that back. So we're not in the business to just spend money for the sake of no reason, just to test the waters. We are in the business of selling your home for you and doing that with a good reputation behind us. So understand You may or may not be able to sell your house on the market today. It is a buyer's market, and unfortunately, that might not work with your spreadsheet plans trying to sell it for a fantasy price. But if you're looking to sell your home and sell it at a proper value for what the buyers are willing to pay today, then you'll have no problem selling your home as long as you are pricing it correctly out the gate and adjusting if needed. If you have any other questions about selling your home in today's market, you can always watch this video here, or you can scan the barcode at the bottom, reach out to me, and we can get a one-on-one call with us set up. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching this one.